Meadows out of the red corner, coming out for Fight for Charity 6. He's been competing on these events since Fight for Charity 4. He's currently 1-1 in Fight for Charity in boxing. He had a beautiful third round, I believe, stoppage in Fight for Charity 4. It may have been a decision. I can't quite remember, to be honest. But nonetheless, he landed some beautiful strikes in that fight and used his length really well. He was taller than his opponent that night. I wonder how he's going to fare against his opponent tonight. He's a very technical southpaw, as Leo Meadows. Likes to utilise his jab and his left hand, a long left hand.
And his opponents, fighting at the blue corner, Kenny.
Coming down to the cage now, we have got Kenny Dove. He will be fighting out the blue corner in this boxing bout. Scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds if it goes to the decision.
Immediately you can see that the fighters are very different in their stature. You've got Leo Meadows, a stocky, powerful southpaw. Kenny Dove making his way to the ring. He's leaner, he's a little bit taller, so he'll be looking to utilise the distance, whereas Leo Meadows will be wanting to close that distance and get in on the inside.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how or if Kenny can utilise that range advantage.
It is a huge advantage if you know how to use it. With that touch of gloves, we start this boxing bout.
I'm sure Kenny would be looking to establish his jab early on in this fight.
Leo Meadows utilises that almost Kelvin Gastelum-esque low lead hand. Huge left there.
Fantastic counter there by Leo.
He lands a nice thudding left hand and a right. Kenny pressuring forward, but he's running straight into those big hands.
Yeah, we can see how comfortable Leo looks in the pocket, just looking for those counters.
Interesting, Kenny's the one coming forward when he's the longer fighter. He's running straight onto those counters of Leo, but then he's just landed a nice left himself.
It's almost like Leo is encouraging Kenny to pressure in to offer more opportunities for those counters.
You're right. He has a very relaxed stance. It almost invites Kenny to come in to brawl. But then Leo's prepared with his counters.
Keeps his hands low. He's got quick hands.
He almost seems unbothered. He's very, very relaxed. He invites the fight to himself, and then he counters very effectively. He's just been hit with a couple of nice hands there, though. Nicely. Lands a beautiful left hand.
It's tricky for Kenny to start these exchanges and work in combination
Beautiful
when he
right
knows
hand.
the counters that are going to come back at him. It's difficult to contend with.
You're right. And Leo, he's doing a very good job of working that body as well. He's got that nice long rear left hook to the body. He's landed it a few times. You can see the redness on Kenny. That's going to serve him well as this fight goes longer on.
I think throughout the rest of this fight, I'd like to see Kenny show some feints, draw those counters out from Leo, and then work to counter those himself.
That's great analysis. If you can counter the counter, that's the most effective way to box. If you draw out your opponent's strike and you can counter that strike, then you'll win all day long.
Yeah, because Leo throws the kitchen sink into those counters, and if they don't land, he can be out of stance, he can be off balance, which gives Kenny a good opportunity to land a counter of his own.
You're right. And Umer, his cornerman, would have noticed that. He's given him effective advice. We'll see if it translates into the second round. Second round is underway. Another huge left there by Leo, and he slips and he goes to the body.
Nice work by Kenny there. Use the jab to keep distance.
The jab is one of the most effective, if not the most effective punches in boxing. But if you rely on it too much, it can be countered very effectively.
Kenny being a little bit more careful with his pressure this round.
And you can see Leo trying to draw out that jab so he can land those big counters.
Yeah, he's encouraging Leo towards him a little bit more now, which is interesting. It's interesting to see how Leo can lead the dance.
Leo doing a good job of evading the counters from Kenny. He needs to have that good head movement with his low guard there, doesn't he?
Stiff right hand there from Kenny.
Leo in the past has switched to orthodox to land that jab. I wonder if he'll utilise that in this fight. He's very much more disciplined with his stance than in previous fight for charities. He looks very much more composed than he has been. But Kenny is putting the pressure on and he is starting to land.
Kenny just needs to make sure that even though he's landing, he remains careful because those counters from Leo are whipping fast.
I'd like to see some body work return from Leo. In the first round he worked effectively. There's a nice shot.
Nice right hand.
Leo being a bit more timid in the second round, maybe conserving his energy. It's almost certain to go to a third. And there we have it, the end of the second round. We will see a third round. You wouldn't have thought it after the first 30 seconds of the first round, though.
Couple of very tough rounds to judge so far. Could be one apiece, but neither fighter is going to feel it. They've got this completely in the bag at this stage.
It's almost a toss-up, isn't it? I think Leo edged the first round with his beautiful, powerful counters, but then Kenny in that second round pressured, but also let Leo come to him and hit him with effective shots. So it could be one apiece. It's a very close fight, a very entertaining fight. You can see our cameraman smiling, seeing the advice from the cornerman Hayden. He seemed to have liked what he heard. Third round underway.
Leo looking to be more aggressive than in previous rounds.
Kenny seems to have the timing on that overhand left now. He seems to be evading it much better than he was in the first.
Leo looking a little bit wild when he has to start the exchange. He seems to be more comfortable on the counter.
He does. Kenny can see the shots coming, he's getting out of the way. And every time you miss a shot, it is so draining. Nice left there from Leo, but it didn't have the same sting on as earlier in the rounds.
You know, it's interesting that Leo, although he's in the southpaw stance, is still circling to his left in these open exchanges. It can leave him open to a right overhand.
It can. It's normally rule number one. You don't circle towards your opponent's rear hand. You walk onto power shots. So far, he's been evading effectively. He has eaten a few shots. Kenny has been landing well. There's a nice left. Leo stumbling forward, trying to grab. That leaves him hugely exposed for the uppercut, don't you think?
Particularly from the bigger fighter, it's dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. He's slipping well, but he is ducking down without any sort of guard. If Kenny can read that, he will land a huge uppercut.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to slip and rip. He's slipping to avoid that first punch, but he needs to come back with something else. Leo looking to clinch up a lot more in this round.
Huge left. There must be just seconds left now, and both fighters are still in this.
Nice work by Kenny there.
And with that, we draw close to that fight. It's a pick 'em fight, I think. You could flip a coin and you wouldn't be disappointed with whoever won.
It was a fantastic fight, back and forth, great matchup.
It was great matchmaking by Redditch MMA and Gold Line Promotions for that one. We saw a real brawl. We saw power and speed versus pressure and patience.
Yeah, nice difference in styles as well.
Absolutely. And with that, we will go to our announcer.
And your winner by split decision, fighting out of the red corner,
Leo Meadows absolutely ecstatic. He's won a very close fight there. He should be absolutely hugely proud of himself.
Very close fight. You know, one of the judges gave it to Kenny, and
You can't argue with that.
yeah.
You cannot argue a split decision. Two judges giving it to one fighter, one to the other, and that was as close as they get, I think.